Needs assessment model analysis for EduCore dynamics. Applying Gilbert's behavior engineering model. This is Paul B.Muyinda, standing in the shoes of Director of Learning Design, EduCore Dynamics. I have been consulted by EduCore Dynamics to do a needs assessment of the problems that they are really having. From the case provided and for EduCore Dynamics, we see that 62% of the projects have missed deadlines. We see that there are quality concerns raised by major clients. We see declining morale and unclear communication. We see task sync software inefficiencies. We see leadership that is unsure whether issues stem from training or they stem from other organization factors. And therefore, as a learning designer, I am tasked with the task of assessing this need to determine whether it is a training need or not a training need. So, in order to do that, we shall need a needs assessment model. Why? Because we shall avoid premature assumptions about training. We shall be able to identify root causes systematically. We shall distinguish environmental and individual factors. We shall align interventions with evidence. Now, there are a number of models that can be used to do needs assessment. One of them is the Gilbert's behavior engineering model. The other one is the Halles front-end analysis model, and then the Kaufman organizational elements model. Let me take the angle of the Gilbert's behavior engineering model because I feel as if this is the most suitable model for the case and focus. The behavior engineering model evaluates performance across 6 factors. These are environmental factors and individual factors, whereby environmental factors relate to information, resources, and incentives that the organization gives to the performer, and the individual factors relate to the knowledge, capacity, and motives that these performers have. Why do I think that the behavior engineering model is the best for the EduCore Dynamics case? We see that from the case provided, there is evidence that points to systemic issues. Behavior engineering model prioritizes environmental factors, which are very important here, and we see that the number of environmental factors, we see that it aligns with Stefaniak's guidance on avoiding premature training. We see that it is supported by Wilmoth, Krigemore, and Bray as a core HPT diagnostic model. So, applying a behavior engineering model, how do we apply this to analyze the environmental factors? This we do by looking at 3 categories of factors: the information factors, the resource factors, and the incentive factors. Under the information factors, we see that there is inconsistent task sync tagging, overlapping templates, staff disconnected from project goals. Under resources, we see that there is redundant data entry. We see that there is inefficient software configuration. We see that there are incentive challenges where they are causing declining morale and lack of alignment between effort and recognition. So to analyze the individual factors, we see that under knowledge, there is no evidence of skills gap in the design, editing, and production by the staff. We see that there is possible need for targeted task sync training. Under the capacity factors, we see that staff are capable but are hindered by poor systems. And the motives, we see that there's motivation affected by systemic barriers, not personal unwillingness. So what could be the root causes or the root cause diagnosis? Now we do a root cause diagnosis. This can be categorized, the root causes can be categorized under 2, the primary root causes and secondary root causes. We see that the primary root causes stem from non-training factors such as workflow design problems, inefficient task configuration, communication breakdowns, unclear roles and expectations, misaligned incentives, and moral issues. And the secondary factors stem from limited task sync trainings. So we now need to categorize the training needs and non-training needs under this organization. The training needs are quite minor, and there are only two. They are task sync navigation and tagging, the micro-learning on communication tools, and then non-training needs are quite actually many. They are the major ones, which include workflow redesigns, software configuration improvements, communication protocols, role clarity, leadership morale strategies. Now, we need to compare BEM and Heartless's front-end analysis model. The Heartless front-end analysis model is strong for determining whether training is needed, but it is time-intensive, less explicit about environmental factors. While on the other hand, the behavior engineering model is stronger here because it immediately highlights environmental barriers, it provides a clear diagnostic grid, is better suited for workflow and software issues, and more actionable for this case. The strength and limitations of the behavior engineering model as follows. Under the strength, we see that there is a clear distinction between training and non-training needs. We can also see strong alignment with systemic issues. We can see actionable diagnostic categories and supported by HPT literature. And that is the behavior engineering model. But this behavior engineering model has limitations, some limitations. It does not provide step-by-step assessment procedures. It's less explicit about organizational culture. It requires supplemental analysis for complex technology ecosystems. Therefore, our recommendations are as follows. Non-training interventions. We need to redesign task sync workflows. We need to standardize tagging and templates. We need to clarify communication protocols. We need to define roles and responsibilities. We need to improve morale through leadership communication. And under the training interventions, which are minor, we need to do targeted task sync training and micro-learning on communication tools. In conclusion, we find that the behavior engineering model provides the clearest lens for diagnosing EduCore's systemic issues. It provides environmental factors. We see that environmental factors are the primary root causes. We see that training alone will not resolve the performance gap at EduCore Dynamics. We see, therefore, that there's a combination of workflow redesign, communication improvements, and targeted training being required. For this assignment, I will declare that I have used AI as follows. Having read the module's materials and then used the assignment organizer to respond to the guiding questions therein while citing relevant sources from the materials given in the readings and in the course, I then formed a coherent Word document which I reviewed against the assignment procedures and rubrics. I then gave the revised Word document to Microsoft Copilot and prompted it to prepare for me an 8 to 10 minute slide deck. After the slide deck was prepared, I reviewed the slides that were given to align them with my analysis of the need that I came across. And that's how I was able to get the slide deck. Because even after getting the slide deck, I had to review them and make them consistent with the case that is under focus. The references or the readings that I made the readings from chapter 6 of Sianak, and then Wilmoth and Prigamo, and the course materials that were provided. These provided me with the references that I used in my assignment. Thank you so much for listening to me, and so thank you so much.